Okay, so a few weeks ago, we started talking about the 8 laws of health. And so we did the first, the acronym, sorry. So we know the 8 laws of health is nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. So we did the first, um, the N, nutrition. And so today I will continue on nutrition. So welcome again to Wellness Wednesday. And Jesus said in John 10:10, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. But I am come, which is Jesus, that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. And I will read this disclaimer. This presentation is for educational purposes and is not meant to replace the advice of your medical professional. It is not to be construed as diagnosis, prescription, or treatment of disease. God is responsible for the result of obedience to his lifestyle plan. The receiver or user of this information must assume all risk personally for the use and misuse of these information. Therefore, this disclaimer serves as notice to the receiver that he or she is free to seek medical attention, advice, treatment, and diagnosis from a licensed medical profession. So the 8 natural laws of health are nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. And we established last time that nutrition is the study of how food and drink affects our bodies, with special regards to essential nutrients necessary to support human health. We also established that there are different type of nutrients that would come together, and they are called classes, and they are carbohydrates, fats, fiber, minerals, proteins, vitamins, and water. And these put together would give us a healthy diet and would help us to maintain good health. Good nutrition means obtaining the right amount of these nutrients from healthy foods in the right combination. Because as we know, we can eat food, but not all food that we eat are healthy food. For example, we can eat food from the can, we can eat fast food, but we know it will fill our stomach, but we know it's not healthy. They are not healthy and they're not much nutrition in it. So today we're going to talk about carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are molecules made of different chains of sugar molecules. Their main function is to provide important sources of energy to our bodies in a healthy diet. So if the diet is not a healthy one, we won't receive the amount of energy and good energy. So, we just feel sluggish. Sometimes, you feel sluggish. Just check what you had just eaten, check your diet, and you would know why you feel like sluggish. Instead of getting energy from the food that you eat, you're feeling sluggish because it's not the right type of food. It's not healthy. Carbohydrates are primary sources of our body's energy. Hence, we need them in large quantities. They are highly found in starches and sugary foods. And also, their molecules are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So there are two types of carbohydrates, and we call these simply carbohydrates, which are sugars, and complex carbohydrates, which are made of starches, made from starches. So the simply carbohydrates, which we call sugars, the basic units of carbohydrates are simply sugar molecules. These are glucose, fructose, and sucrose. They are found in sweet foods like chocolates, milk, and fruits. They are easily digestible and can be absorbed quickly into the bloodstream to provide a short-lasting energy boost. And they can cause sugar spike in your blood. So the sugar ones give fast-acting energy as opposed to the complex carbohydrates, which are found in starch. So the ones that are found in starch, the second group, they are long chains of sugar joined together. They are found in foods high in starches like bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, etc. And as the name implies long, they react longer than the sugar type. How do our bodies use carbohydrates? Our bodies use, because of the energy they produce, they use the carbohydrates to fuel the process in our bodies. So we walk, we have to use the carbohydrates. We need energy to walk. So that's the fuel. We do our work every day. We need energy as well. So we use that fuel as a process in our bodies. So the carbohydrates are broken down in the body into glucose, which can be absorbed into the bloodstream. Once absorbed into the bloodstream, then it goes as well into our cells, the cells in our body. And they are used, the glucose from that are used for respiration. The glucose reacts to oxygen and then it releases the energy. Okay. How much carbohydrates do we need? So from the World Health Organization recommendation, it says that getting half your energy from it's best to get half your energy from carbohydrates. For a moderate active teenager, this is about 260 grams daily. So each person would need different quantity of carbohydrates. So a person who walks in the field every day, like somebody in the Caribbean who is a farmer, they would need a lot of carbohydrates, more than someone who just sit at their desk at the computer to work, or more than an elderly person who doesn't, who is bedbound or who is chair-bound, who doesn't exercise. So that chair-bound person who use less energy would need less carbohydrates. Cyclists, athletics, they also need a lot of carbohydrates because they need lots of energy as well. And they perspires a lot also. So we can also find carbohydrates in vegetables. Some of the vegetables we eat daily are rich in carbohydrates, but are within a safe range. These vegetables also supply other essential microelements like potassium, sodium, iron, calcium, and vitamins. And we need those in proportion as well to help with our to add to our healthy diet. So you would find carbohydrates in leafy vegetables, in pulses, in mushrooms, etc., other foods. In vegetables such as potatoes, you would find 18.5% of that would be a portion would be carbohydrates. Sweet potatoes, you will get 16.4% from sweet potato, onion 7.8%, and so forth. So you won't, if you know you're going to get 18%, 18.5% from potatoes, and that would be the Irish potato. You won't fill your plate with just Irish potato. You would need to, you know, gauge your portion and make your plate, equal in other portion of food. Food such as cereal or wheat, they have 82% of carbohydrates, and you would find that in bread. But please make it be brown bread or bread with grains in it, not white bread, because we know the white bread is bleached, the flour is bleached, and they have stripped the flour of all the nutrients. So there will be no nutrients in anything white that we eat. White bread, white flour, white rice, these are stripped of the nutrients. So they just give you a belly full, and they're not of no nutritious value. Corn or maize, you will find 82%. So you could make porridge with it or popcorn. In rice, the brown rice, 91%. You could also use the rice as soup or dessert, or you could make porridge as well, or you could use it as, a main part of your dish as well. Oats, you would find 65%. And this would be the healthiest oat would be the roll oat. Barley, 73%, and spelt, 70%. Carbohydrates in fruits. These these are natural foods that we can have daily. We do not need to cook fruits. So we could have fruits daily, and we could have a good amount of fruits and get good percentage of carbohydrates from the fruits as well. They contain also vitamins and minerals and sugar to vary extent based on the type of fruits. Fruits like mangoes, bananas, grapes, watermelon have no quantity of sugar, have more quantity of sugar. So this would be a caution to persons who are diabetic, because the sugar would go straight to your bloodstream, and then it would spike your blood sugar, and then you might be in a diabetic crisis. It will make your sugar level very high, and then that could cause problem as well. So diabetics, if you need to eat fruit, just we know if we go to the Caribbean or even here, if we can afford the fruits here, we might sit down and eat a whole bowl of mango So this is not good for diabetic people. It could spike your sugar level, and then you become um, hyperglycemic, and then you could also, you know, go in a coma if your blood sugar is too high, and it could cause all of the problems to your major organs in your body. For diabetics, if your sugar level is low, then you could eat a very sweet fruit, which will, bring up your sugar level as well. Because if you're hypo as well, you could also go into a coma. Other fruits like mangoes and papaya have fewer quantity of sugar, and that is safer for people who are diabetics. Fruits are good to consume as they are rich in fiber and other nutrients. So others who are suffering with bowel problems or constipation, colon problems, a diet high in fruit would be very beneficial for you, because it have lots of fiber, and fiber help to clean your bowel. It acts as a broom in your colon, so it sweeps and scrapes everything out of your colon. And those who are suffering with constipation as well. Diets with complete fruits or natural fruit juice for sick people, as they are easy to digest. So if you're very ill, except for diabetics, if you're very ill, and when you're very ill, it's very hard to eat, food, especially these foods that are hard to digest. Some people, they lose their appetite, and your digestive system won't be working properly as and efficiently as somebody who is not sick. So you need to eat food that would easily broken down. So fruit juice would help you, and fruits also would help you, and you get your carbohydrates from those. So in apple, we'll find 14% carbohydrates, and these are like one serving. Banana, 23.8%, orange, 12.3%, grapes, 18.3%, watermelon, 7.5%, pineapple, 11.6%, avocado, 10%, kiwi fruit, 13.5%. And as we see here, watermelon has the lowest percentage, which is 7.5%. So we could eat as much watermelon. And also we know the watermelon is also used as a hydration. So especially in the summer when it's very hot, we could eat a lot of watermelon. That would help us with our carbohydrates, and it will also help us to rehydrate our cells. It will keep us hydrated as well. We could also find carbohydrates in sweets like ice cream. Almost everyone like ice cream, and they are very high in sugar. They are sweet to taste, and most of us have sweet tooth. And they are also made from high amount of fats and sugar. Chocolates and cakes, they are high in carbohydrates too. They're also made from lots of sugar and fats as well. Ready-made cakes from the bakery, they are very high in sugar and starches. Biscuits as well. Biscuits are mainly made from cereal and corn, and they are rich in carbohydrates. So when you go to the supermarket, you have to learn to read the labels as well. So the labels will tell you, the carbohydrates, the sugar, and the first ingredient on the list, that would be the highest, and that would be very high in sugar as well. So learn to read your labels when you go to the supermarket. Carbohydrates in drinks. So you could find carbohydrates in soft drinks. Some soft drinks like Coke, Pepsi and have large amount of sugar. And we know we on this line as Adventists, we don't touch Coke or Pepsi, but there are other drinks, in cans and stuff that we might be tempted to drink or to buy. And, they're just full of sugar. You just get a sugar spike from it, and that's all, a sugar rush. There's nothing there to sustain you at all. Okay, so having these soft drinks along with food can be harmful to health as they can shoot up our sugar levels in our blood. And for people who are diabetic as well, for children as well, and especially people who are autistic, you know, try to eliminate these from your diet because we know people who are artistic, the more sugar they get, the more energy they get, and the more, uncontrollable they would be. Even with normal kids as well, that would happen. Beverages also are high in carbohydrates, alcohol drinks, wine and whiskeys, and we know we don't touch those. So it doesn't apply to us, but we could tell it to our friends who is not of our kind. Also have high amount of carbohydrates in it as well because of the sugar and the yeast that are fermented to make these drinks, and the barley as well. Okay, so some benefits of carbohydrates: it increases energy, it enhances brain function and allow us to focus. It aids in reducing constipation, as in eating the fiber foods and the grains and bran. It aids in colon and bowel health. It's good for manual laborers, farmers, and good for athletes. So athletes, they eat different types of carbohydrates at different time in their training schedules, because we know, they have to put a lot of energy into training in different type of season as well. So they lose a lot of perspiration as well. So they would need a large intake of carbohydrates also with farmers and manual laborers as well. The disadvantage of eating too much carbohydrates: we have to do everything in temperance. Everything have the advantages and the disadvantages. So too much carbohydrates now, if you eat a lot of carbohydrates and you don't burn it off, you don't do the work that would reflect the carbohydrates that you have eaten, it can give increased risk of obesity or weight gain because the sugar turns into fat. Increased risk of diabetes. So the sugar as well go to our bloodstream, and if we are in a family as well who also have diabetes in the family traits, so be careful because you'll be at risk. And those who your doctor would say that you are pre-diabetic, so you have to be careful with the amount of carbohydrates or the type of carbohydrates you eat as well. Increase blood glucose level, that's the blood in the sugar in your blood, and it increases energy and make in children, so it make an autistic as well. So it makes them very hyper and uncontrollable at sometimes. So important tips: avoid eating late at night. Eat your last meal 5 hours before bedtime because we know the carbohydrates, the starchy ones, take a long time to digest. So we eat them, as early as possible so they could digest before we go to bed. You don't want your stomach to be working while you're sleeping. Be mindful of your portion size. Eliminate carbohydrates that's found in junk food and processed food, and make breakfast your very important meal with the healthy carbohydrates, and eating healthy diet rich in organic fruits and vegetables. Things to eat with high in fiber, high in carbohydrates would be like dry figs, prunes, grains, bran, raw fruits and vegetables, dry figs, beetroots, kiwi. Those are the healthy ones. Those to avoid are white flour, white rice, white bread, cheese, fried food, foods in tins, and processed foods. So, in conclusion, in a living body, carbohydrates provides energy. Some of the carbohydrates are available for energy supply, like the glucose. Some of them are easily broken down, like the sugar goes straight to your blood, and the starch, they take longer to absorb in your body. Okay? So, um, a word of caution again for those who are diabetic, check your sugar levels, and even after you have eaten, before you eat your fruits and after you have eaten any sugary thing, check your sugar level to see how it has affect your sugar level. So I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in good health, just as our soul prospereth.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, my sister.